All right. So today here at Day One Lounge, I know we usually are have fun with our videos and everything, but today we're talking about a very serious matter today. Especially a matter that just exposes the justice system in America and just how unfair it is. If you don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about Marcellus Williams right here being wrongfully executed. So, John, if you could uh, tell us about this article over here. What's going on? That'd be great.
So again, if you guys didn't already know, Missouri executed a man on death row this Tuesday. So this was yesterday. People have been actually fighting for this case to be stopped. Again, the
Yeah,
execution. However, the execution has been already done. So Marcellus Khalifa Williams, at age 55, was killed by a lethal injection after a ongoing battle against outrage for that originally supposed to be a wrongful execution. So a lot of civil rights advocates and lawmakers across the U.S. Have been trying to stop the attorney general from pushing against the execution. However, the execution was still in motion. So basically, all the calls from people to stop the execution has been denied, and eventually, Marcellus Williams has been killed via lethal injection. So the reason for the murders for the execution was because he was convicted of in 1998 for killing Leisha Gale, a social worker from the St. Louis Dispatch Reporter. He was accused of breaking into Gale's home, stabbing her to death, and stealing all of her belongings. However, interestingly enough, the reason why people are against this is because there was no forensic evidence linked to Williams to the murder weapon or the crime scene. And again, local prosecutors have renounced his conviction. They wanted to stop the execution, excluding his family and a lot of jurors. However, unfortunately, again, like I said, the attorney district general denied the notion. They even tried to go to the Supreme Court to stop this. However, the Supreme Court said no. They denied the motion, and of course, the execution was continued. Of course, there's public outrage whether this was a correct way to um, execute someone, as there's no forensic evidence. A lot of people question it, and of course, on the day that he was executed, his last written statement was all praise to be to Allah in every situation, and of course, that's where he was executed on that day. So yeah, a lot of pop people are outraged because again. Why stop? Why didn't they stop the execution? Because there's no
yeah.
forensic evidence. Of course, that remains a mystery. I don't. The details are scarce, but apparently, it's because the conviction has already been given. Therefore, there's no evidence, and of course, the execution has already been made. Again, this isn't the first time people wanted to stop execution. I think there was another execution that was stopped. Like I think Kim Kardashian took notice of it, and she even like pleaded, or I think it was Kourtney Kardashian, to plead to stop the execution, but that also was denied, and he was executed that day. So yeah, it's been going on. This has been an ongoing trend in the U.S. justice system.
Yeah. John, are you able to read that the last paragraph over here about how on the DNA testing there is no on the DNA testing on the knife which showed no traces of William's DNA.
Mhm.
Uh so yeah, as you guys can see over here what it's saying, they did not find his DNA on the murder weapon. In fact, on the whole entire crime scene, they found a different set of footprints which did not match his, and a piece of hair which did not match his at all, as well too. Uh, it's just very unfortunate what happened because apparently his girlfriend at the time also testified to him being the killer. Since at the time he did have a stolen laptop and a jacket, I believe, which was the murder victim's stuff, apparently. Now, I'm not too sure if this is true or not, but this is what I've just been hearing a whole lot, right? Uh, yeah, and apparently the girlfriend that testified uh, on him did it for a reward, apparently, but unfortunately, the girlfriend is no longer alive to testify about this whole entire thing as well, too. So, dude, this whole situation honestly sucks. I get that things are in motion, and when things are in motion, you know, uh, I guess they don't stop or try to add any new evidence or anything, unfortunately, right? And also about this case that I heard is that the original judge that was actually looking at this before they set the motion and the verdict, uh apparently he was gonna let Marcellus Williams go free, right?
Mm.
But unfortunately, the judge retired, and which this case was handed to a new judge who ultimately decided not to just look at the new evidence and everything and just kind of go along with how everything was already, which is why the judge itself is facing a lot of backlash on social media, especially a place like Twitter, now known as X. Uh, People are saying that that judge might as well be a murderer themselves, which I I agree. I agree. Right now, when you have the victim's family and other people and also the DNA testing saying that there was no DNA test on them. There was no his DNA was not on the murder weapon. His footprints didn't match, and the hair found at the scene didn't match as well too. You would think that that is enough to let the guy go, right? Because he's clearly been uh yeah, this whole thing has clearly been mishandled. And now he's served jail for something he didn't do and now has been killed for something he didn't do, supposedly. Right. So, honestly, dude, the justice system in America honestly sucks. And obviously, I could bring a lot of other topics, a lot of controversial topics into this, but I won't do that today. I won't do that today as much as I want, John. Like it really just sucks, dude.
So, so again, they did push this over the week or the weekend, but again, they did some last ditch efforts to try to save the plea deal to stop the execution. However, again, the governor of Missouri rejected the clemency
Yep.
request, and they proceeded with the execution. One of the attorney general, argued in court that the original prosecutor denied racial motivations for removing black jurors and asserted there was nothing improper about touching the murder weapon without gloves at the time. So um, there was evidence that apparently that they mishandled the weapon for the killing, and apparently they touched it without the gloves before the trial. Hence, why the forensic testified of mishandling the weapon made it impossible to determine if Williams' fingerprints could have been on the knife earlier. So yeah, it was a lot, man. It was tough. And again, um, like you said with the girlfriend, they have also suggested that other evidence points to Williams' guilt, including testimony from a man who shared a cell with him, and of course, Williams' girlfriend
Euro.
who claimed that she stole stolen items from Williams' car. Again, both of them have been convicted of felonies, and they seen that these testimonies were motivated for a $10,000
Yep.
reward.
As I was saying. Yeah. And it's I guess this article doesn't bring up about the shoe and then the hair found over there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh so man, this there's a whole lot of stuff going on in this situation, unfortunately. And like I said, the American justice system is just one of it's just very unfair. It's just very unfair, very unkind to certain people. When I say certain people, you guys know what I mean by that. Uh and yeah, yeah, dude. This honestly is just a very unfortunate thing, but honestly, it makes people wake up and see how really things are, right? Uh, because unfortunately, when it comes to American law, if you're from the '80s, you compare the law from the '80s to right now, two completely different things, right? So, being prosecuted back then and then now I don't know what to say, dude. This whole situation is just absolutely shitty. Nobody deserves this. Now, obviously, if he did do it, yes, 100% deserves to be in jail for life. If he didn't do it, no, does not deserve to be executed. Does not deserve to be executed, man. It's a very unfortunate situation because when you look at this whole entire things, there's a lot of different motives, especially from the cellmate and the girlfriend for the $10,000. The judge as well too, not wanting to have any uh, black people on the stands as well too, um, ignoring that the hair and the footprints as well, ignoring the families of the victim, saying that no, let him go, do not kill him, as well too, and a lot of other people too that are saying the exact same thing that were witnesses to the whole entire situation when it happened, right? So it really makes you think that if is law not fixable, is doing the right thing, doing the most ethical thing, not fixable. Because as somebody who studied law and society, right, we had a lot of classes about ethical law and moral, right? About doing the right thing, about going back and looking at all these situations. As somebody that studied law, this is something that really pisses me off. And unfortunately, even in my law classes, we went through so many corrupt cases that you just look at and you're just dumbfounded. And this right now is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of them, guys. Right? So it's just very unfortunate that this had to happen to somebody who could be potentially innocent when it comes to all of this, but probably should have been let go, and they should have just stopped the whole motion and brought the new evidence and everything to light, right? Which is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very important. So ignoring all of this, these judges, these senators, they do not care about the morals of this whole situation. The ethics that they have are below average and they just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. These are the people serving the justice system. This is why a lot of people say the justice system needs to be completely revamped
Mm-hmm.
because it's still holding on to a lot of ideologies from the 70s, 80s that literally made no sense and were so biased and were systematically made to oppress other different groups and all of that as well too. Now, people might not like me saying that, but that's just a matter of the fact. It is literally the matter of the fact, right? But yeah, man. Yeah.
So so again, at the end of the day, man, no one is above the law but God, and
Yeah.
God, man,
Facts.
if God is the only one who knows it, and of
The one
course,
above all.
whoever gave this punishment to this guy, whether and again, if there's evidence of it, and of course, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be God's will. And of course, for those who senators who or who the government officials who denied the motion for the death, again, that's up to God on how to judge you, because
Yeah.
like God is going to be the judge, jury, and executioner by the
Yeah.
end of the day. And yeah, so rest in peace to the man, and again, Allah is with him, as he stated before he
Yeah.
passed. So he's in peace, man. But it's just again unfortunate, and the U.S. law system, man, it's mess, bro. That's
And
all I
guys,
gotta say.
it's not just the US law system. Obviously, it's all over the world as well too. Law in general is just it's just not right at the
Mm,
moment. You know, there's a lot of flaws when it comes to it. And when I say law is just has a lot of flaws, I still believe that law is very necessary in order to, have things be safer. I do believe that police are necessary, laws are necessary, and everything in order for there to be peace. But as long as the law itself is right, is just, and treats everybody the same, that's how it should be. Now, guys, thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate it. Let us know your comments in the comment section. We'll be replying to a lot of them. Uh, yeah, and yeah, I don't even know what to say. See you guys later.